North Dakota State returned home for the Harvest Bowl and exploded, using skill, speed, and explosion to run Western Illinois off the field, putting up 57 points to move to 10-0. Today, the Bison hope to clinch a share of their 9th straight Missouri Valley Football Conference championship on Senior Day against South Dakota. It's coming up next.
Tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down. The boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring the boys up to the line. Hold your horns up high because it's Bison time.
Hello and welcome to the Fargo Dome on a pleasant fall afternoon here in Fargo. Number 1, North Dakota State playing host to South Dakota here on Senior Day. The Bison putting their 31-game winning streak on the line. NDSU also 79-6 here at home in the last 85 contests. But one of those losses back in 2015 to a South Dakota team that was a very heavy underdog.
Just like the Coyotes are here today. Once again, a very heavy underdog, but USD does have the offense to put some points on the board. It's the defense for the Coyotes that has been the issue so far this year. And when NDSU plays teams where their defense is an issue, you usually see a whole bunch of yards.
The head coach for South Dakota, Bob Nielsen, spent some time at Minnesota Duluth, had a lot of success there in the Division II ranks, then went to Western Illinois, a couple of playoff appearances for the Leathernecks, and now trying to get things going here in Vermillion, but it's been a disappointing season after a disappointing season last year as well.
There's no doubt, though, that Coach Nielsen can get a program into a winning mode. If you remember back in the D2 days with Duluth winning a national championship, that was, what, 9 seasons ago, I believe, before he started into the D1 coaching. And, of course, Matt Entz has won all 10 of his games. A better start than Coach Kleiman. 10-0.
South Dakota won the toss, and the Coyotes decided to take the ball first and put that explosive offense on the field that put over 50 points up last week at home against Youngstown State. Kara Wegner, a Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Fair catch is made at the 5-yard line, and South Dakota will start at the 25.
That's standard practice for the Coyotes, fair catch kickoffs, and they've only returned 8 punts all year, too, so you won't see a lot in the return game.
Austin Simmons, quarterback, senior. Let's take a look at the North Dakota State defense, sponsored by Shields.
Spencer Wagey, South Shore, South Dakota. Cole Parch, Germantown, Wisconsin.
Jack Darnell, Champlin, Minnesota.
Derek Teska, Warner, South Dakota.
Aaron Mercadale, Oakland, California.
Jackson Hankey, Park River, North Dakota.
James Kaiser, St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Marquise Bridges, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Michael Tutsi, Indianapolis, Indiana.
James Hendricks, Bemidji, Minnesota.
Josh Hayes, Lakeland, Florida.
Ty Henry's forced carry for a yard, and Henry has gone over 100 yards on the ground in 3 straight games. A little speed option there to the outside.
Well, given the fact that you have safeties playing linebacker, that adds speed to the box as well. Might be a little more difficult for the Yotes to get outside today.
2nd and 9, Simmons hanging in the pocket and getting away. And this is what makes this guy dangerous, is his ability to run. And Simmons, 3 yards short of a first down to the 32. Jackson Hankey, his first tackle, and Simmons is having another tremendous season. 4 touchdown passes against Youngstown State. There are his numbers. Sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. The 12 interceptions, though, have been an issue at times for South Dakota. Simmons gonna run. Stumbles ahead, needed to get to the 35, and that's exactly where the officials are marking him. He has enough for a first down.
Well, Brian, you talked a little bit about what Simmons did last week against Youngstown, but the one thing I think was probably more impressive than anything else was the 4 scoring drives of 75 yards or more that USD was able to put on the Penguins.
Henry dragged down from behind by Pierce, but still falls ahead for a gain of 5 to the 40. The South Dakota offense also sponsored by Shields. We talked about Henry and Simmons. This offensive line has had its issues, but the receiving core, LT, can be very dynamic. Guys like Dakari Allen, Caleb Van Der Esch can get down the field and really hurt you.
And they haven't had Cody Case much this year. 19 different receivers have caught a ball this year for USD.
Simmons, design run again, and Lane Tucker read it perfectly as a helmet goes flying from North Dakota State back at the 30-yard line. Gain of 1 will bring up 3rd and a long 3. That's Tony Pierce retrieving the lost headwear.
Yeah, you can see Tony Pierce. He'll have to set out a play. There's Lane Tucker, NDSU, able to get into that rotation with the number of defensive linemen. It's one of the benefits that Coach Anch has, is again depth on that defensive line here facing a 3rd down.
Simmons looking to the sideline. Offensive coordinator Ted Schlafke was a quarterback in Minnesota Duluth. Has been the OC here for the last few years. Simmons hanging in there, firing in the flat, and it's broken up by James Kaiser. The intended target was the tight end Connor Herman. And that'll bring up a punting situation for South Dakota. And Kaiser, a guy they're really glad to have back. He's missed the last couple of games with an abdominal injury.
But here's what I'm talking about in terms of having the speed down in the box. Now, normally that is a quote-unquote linebacker. If it's not Jabril Cox, then it's Mercadal or someone who's a little bit slower. But that's a defensive back playing a linebacker position today and using his skills to get out into the flat quickly against a tight end.
Brady Scott has had a really good year for South Dakota. This one's kind of a wobbler, taken on a hop at the 16-yard line by Trevor Height. And Cole Karch not available today. Aaron Mercadal wasn't street close. So the linebacking core in particular for North Dakota State is very thin.
Well, the linebacker core, other than Hankey, from kids who have played a lot of reps, are all defensive backs.
Jabril Cox also, as we should mention, not available today either. So we got your 2 outside linebackers starting. Not out there today for NDSU. Trey Lance will bring the Bison offense. Give to the outside. Oh, how about the move there by Ty Brooks, and the senior put a little shake and bake on one of the defensive backs, and then a flag comes in at the very end as Brooks gained about 15 on first down.
Oh, that little stop and go move. We've seen Ty do so much of that. One of the NDSU seniors again on senior day. Ty with over 2,100 yards in his career here at NDSU rushing.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense for 68. Penalties 15 yards, CD spot. It will be 1st and 10 for North Dakota State.
So all that yardage Ty Brooks gained goes for naught. It'll move the ball right back to where this drive started.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. 68's the guy who gets called for it. That's Johnson. Here's the tail end of the play. Brooks gets tackled. Now let's see what Zach does. Takes 2 steps and puts a coyote on his back.
And those have been an issue for Zach Johnson this year. Some of the stuff after the whistle. Inside handoff, not as much room this time. Gain of just a couple. Two teams getting after each other here early.
At least the scenario, as we take a look at Trey Lance, is that it was a dead ball and it remains 1st down here for NDSU.
Lance's numbers, sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. And that's not a typo. He has not thrown an interception. 21 touchdowns. He's also run for 9 scores. He has the 5th most touchdowns in a single season in NDSU history, and a chance to add to it here. Easy throw made there by Lance to Watson. Tries to get to the outside and is pushed out of bounds right at the 1st down marker. Will depend where they mark him out. Maybe a yard short of the 1st down will bring up. Oh, it did move the chains. Let's take a look at the North Dakota State offense, sponsored by Shields.
Trey Lance, Marshall, Minnesota.
Dylan Radens, Becker, Minnesota.
Nash Johnson, Oshawa, Minnesota.
Carson Shooting, Raleigh, North Dakota.
Zach Johnson, Spring Lake Park, Minnesota.
Cordell Volson, Belfort, North Dakota.
Ben Ellefson, Holly, Minnesota.
Garrett Malmstrom, Burgess, Minnesota.
Adam Cofield, Lee Summit, Missouri.
Christian Watson, Tampa, Florida.
Phoenix Sproles, New Hope, Minnesota.
Cofield, his first carry there. Good pickup on first down of 8 yards across the 35 to the 36.
Bison are going to go speed here. Keep those 3 tight ends on. Nodak Insurance Company replay as you look at it from the end zone. NDSU has given this look to USD twice. Once they ran behind the tight ends, once to the far side.
Oh, great move again in the open field. Little shake and bake put on after the reception is made by Cole Jacob. Only his 3rd reception of the season, but it's enough for an NDSU first down.
We have not seen a lot of this, meaning tempo out of NDSU so far this year. I really like the fact that the Coyotes haven't seen much of it, maybe back on their heels a bit.
Another easy throw out into the flat, and South Dakota's given the Bison those easy throws, and Jacob has back-to-back receptions and another first down, a gain of 13.
Well, Brian, the Coyotes aren't just giving it to NDSU. They've given it to every team they've played. As a general rule of thumb, the USD will play press in the boundary, really wide in the field. They're given a lot at the line of scrimmage.
Cofield stumbles
flag
ahead to the 34-yard line. The flag came out right away. Take a look at the South Dakota defense, sponsored by Shields. We talked about Jack Cochran. He's got about 25 more tackles, more than anybody else on this defense. They will flip around between a 4-3 and a 3-4-2 LT.
This young man is not playing today either. Mogensen, he is injured.
You talked about Jakari Starling, guy that was a safety last year. Hughes moved down. Darren Greenfield, one of the top pass rushers in the nation. 24 career sacks, just 5 this season.
Yeah, Greenfield bottom left there. He is really close to some all-time, well, he has one all-time record, but he's really close to more all-time records. 3 sacks away from USD's all-time record. He's already has more tackles for loss than anyone else who is has worn the Coyote jerseys. So he's a good one.
5-yard penalty against NDSU will bring it back to a 1st and 15. And Lance throwing on the run, and an open man at the 25 is Watson. Gets away from the man to the 10. Watson! A little bit short of the goal line. They're going to mark him out at about the 2.
Oh boy, Cameron Tisdale, Nodak Insurance Company replay. He is toasted on this play. He is nowhere even near in your screen. Number 5 is the guy I'm talking about. He thought that that Watson was going to run a post, and he turned and ran toward the middle of the field, opening up the outside. There's Christian trying to stretch it over for a touchdown. Didn't quite get it, but boy, his emergence as, again, being a go-to wide receiver has been fun to watch this year.
1st and goal for NDSU. Back to the ground game. Bouncing it out, now cutting it back up and into the end zone for the touchdown is Ty Brooks.
Opening drive for USD, 1 first down. Opening drive for NDSU, touchdown. And the Bison did it a number of different ways. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Brooks bounces a little bit outside, but then he sees the outside not open, squares his shoulders, and then runs through contact to get in to give the Bison the lead today.
4th touchdown for the senior from Fargo South High School. The 16th touchdown of his career, averaging 7.5 yards per carry. NDSU quickly jumps on the Coyotes here on Senior Day. It is 7-0 NDSU on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. (7-0) North Dakota State. Ty Brooks, a 2-yard touchdown run. One of 14 seniors playing their final regular season home game, and certainly the Bison hope to have many more here at the Fargo Dome in December.
The good thing, too, is that early penalty didn't hamper that drive.
Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. This one, driving the return man back to his own goal line. Some hesitation coming out initially, and then across the 20. Another head goes rolling.
No, the helmet went rolling. The head stayed attached.
Wesley Elidor on that return for USD. Let's go to Ryan Geller for a First International Bank and Trust sideline report.
Yeah, guys, and speaking of helmets, Snorty is back, and Bison fans for the past years know what Snorty is. North Dakota State seniors this week decided they would like to give a tip of the hat to former Bison players, and so Snorty is on the helmet. The old logo from 1972 to 1998. Today, a nod to the past. It's NDSU's 125th year at football, and guys, Snorty is back.
Quick throw out to Levi Fultz. Michael Tutsey in there quickly to close in. 3-yard pickup there for the Coyotes on first down. And thank you, Ryan. And I like the Snorty.
You like Snorty
Bring it
on
back.
there. I like it too.
Bobcats scoring recap. 8 plays, 84 yards in 3 minutes. Impressive run there for North Dakota State down the field, doing it in all sorts of ways. Simmons flushed again, has some room to run. Henry throws a block, and Simmons has a first down as he runs out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Nice patience in that run there by the senior quarterback. Waited for Kai Henry to kind of get himself in blocking position. He took care of, I think it was Tutsey, and then he was able to just step outside and get up enough turf to get that first down.
Simmons changing things up here, so plenty of time on the play clock. Simmons. It is caught out in the flat again, and North Dakota State closing quickly. The reception is made by one of the true freshmen getting a chance to play here, Carter Bell out of Bettendorf, Iowa. Was a quarterback actually in high school, but has done a nice job not only as a wide receiver, but as a return man.
This is also his 4th game of the year, not expected to play next week against the Jackrabbits to enable to keep his red shirt.
Simmons running again, Bison ready for it. And again, first man there is Michael Tutsey, who has come down to play some linebacker here, no gain.
You know, we've been talking a lot about Simmons' ability to run the ball from that quarterback position, but remember, he's got over 6,100 yards passing and only 79 yards behind Schomer to become the 2nd all-time leading passer for USD, so he's obviously been productive through the air in his career as well.
Had to bide his time behind Chris Strebler here initially. Bull rush dropped off to Henry and hit right away in the backfield by James Kaiser. And that is a loss of 3 in a punting situation. You had talked about Simmons, LT. He has completed 55 more passes than Trey Lance has attempted this season.
That's crazy, isn't it? Nodak Insurance Company replay. Boy, you're going to see off to the right side of your screen the closing speed there from Kaiser. He lines him up, stays squared to the play, and makes the tackle. James Kaiser, 5th on the team in tackles, and he's listed as the backup strong safety.
Height calls for the fair catch on the Scott punt, and a flag comes in late. Maybe kick-catch interference coming here, but the Coyote gunner there may have looked like he'd been blocked into that play.
If you're blocked into it, it is certainly not a penalty, but if you're there on your own, you have to give the punt returner an opportunity to have a clean look to catch the ball.
So Bob Nielsen is arguing right there.
They're talking it over.
Kick catch interference, kicking team, number 9, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That will go on Elidor. Nielsen still pleading his case to no avail as David Siegel makes the call. 6:44 to go in the first quarter. North Dakota State with the football and a 7-point lead on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Gate City Bank is proud to support the NDSU Bison. Show your Bison pride today with a free NDSU Gate City Bank debit card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC. 1st and 10 North Dakota State from the 41 after the penalty, and the first run of the day for Trey Lance. And he picks up 7 to about the 49-yard line.
Bison showed strength off to Lance's right. He pulls it, makes his read. It's an RPO. Or not an RPO, but a read option. And obviously, when you pick up 7 yards on it, Lance read it right.
Lance, number 1 in the FCS in passing completion percentage, 69.6%. Phenomenal.
No wonder he was added to the Peyton.
Good strong run there for Adam Cofield, and he has enough for a North Dakota State first down across the 50 inside South Dakota territory. Jakari Starling, another tackle for USD.
I'll be interested just to find out throughout the course of the day how much on your Nodak Insurance Company replay. You see the Coyotes like the pinch, but it was Greenfield really got moved by Cordell Volson. He did a brilliant job on the right side. Cordell Volson did. But the Coyotes like to pinch so much that the A-gap stuff might be hard, but they were able to get it done on that play and pick up the first.
Trey Lance out of the shotgun with two backs, and Lance delivering on target. Babbage was the intended receiver, and the coverage by Philip Powell.
Babbage looked like he just was trying to kind of box Powell out, keep him on his backside, and then squeeze the ball in there. I'll let you be the judge on the Nodak Insurance Company replay if you think Mr. Powell got there a little quick.
Oh.
How about a lot quick?
Wow, he went through him. Ground game. Stumbling and then staying on his feet and bouncing to the outside. He is Kobe Johnson. The electric freshman out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, picks up 16 yards down to the 30.
Well, we just saw his speed. Obviously, against Youngstown, you saw it be wide open. But when the turf monster almost gets you, and you still have the speed to be able to turn the corner, work off a block, and a beautiful block there by Nash Jensen. One more on the outside. Pick up the first down when he almost stumbled at the line of scrimmage. Right there, keeps his foot, hand down, and then that speed from this young man. He's quick. 10.500 in high school.
Boy, look at the move in the hole and the stiff arm at the 30. Strong running from Ty Brooks. The senior has come to play here on Senior Day.
Oh, Matt Entz loves it. Philip Powell does not. I believe that's the guy that he just lined up and ran through. It's coming right at you. Powell is number 21. Put that shoulder down and then gut your way to about 7 more yards down to the 7.
23 on that carry for Brooks. Already 42 rushing yards here in the first quarter. Run again. Oh, missed tackles, and Cofield spinning free and into the end zone. Touchdown.
Inside zone, nothing really special happening in the blocking scheme, but Adam Cofield makes it special as here's the finish as he dives in to get that ball across, and NDSU has its second touchdown. Boy, the Bison just really showing how much more physical they are than the Coyotes today, and really that's been the theme the last 3 years, how much more NDSU has just pounded this USD defense.
Prosa adds the extra point. Bob Nielsen said this week he believes the North Dakota State backs are faster this year than what they've had in the past, and if you miss a tackle, you're going to get hurt. The Coyotes a couple of missed tackles on that touchdown run, and it's a 14-0 hole for the visitors. Let's take a look at today's Gate City Bank Fan Cam. Send us your Homer Watch Party picks to fancamyourcam.com, and we'll show those in the fourth quarter. That is fancamyourcam.com. 14-0 North Dakota State. The Bison 690 yards of total offense last week against Western Illinois. Already 162 yards here in the first quarter today. Returned out to the 23-yard line, and that's where South Dakota will have it. Returned by the freshman, Carter Bell. Jasir Cox coming in on special teams to make the tackle.
Jake Richardson from the Coyotes had a really nice block. He had a decleater on that one.
There's a look at Ted Schlafke. This is an offense that has run the football more this year, has been more of a balanced club, LT, and you've seen that in the numbers. Flag comes in.
Urbas, I think, right tackle moved.
Start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, the Coyotes really saw it last week when they had both kids. You had Brooks and Henry going over 100 yards. You're looking at the left tackle right there making the move.
Jackson Brown in at linebacker here on 1st and 15. Simmons plenty of time, might run again. Using Urbis as a shield, and Simmons still on his feet, fighting for extra yardage. James Hendricks finally drags him down ever so softly at the 27-yard line for a gain of about 9 yards.
It appeared to me that Simmons was waiting for Going the tight end to come open on a late deep cross, and the safety was not fooled. He was right on top of it.
Quarterback run again. Simmons spinning away a couple different times and then just falling ahead to the 31 will bring up 3rd and 2. Let's pause for a quick message from Tobolt Seed.
Tobolt Seed, family owned and operated for over 90 years. How do you stay in business that long? Hard work and integrity. Tobolt Seed offers Thunder Seed Enlist soybeans, Roundup Ready to Extend soybeans, Liberty Link GT27 soybeans, and Thunder Seed corn.
Kyer Henry putting his head down and darting up to about the 35-yard line, and enough for a first down as James Kaiser makes the tackle.
Okay, we pinpointed Urbis for the mistake he made by moving early, but on that particular play, he got Logan McCormick moved. He was able to seal the edge and did a fine job of it.
Simmons flushed again. Stays in bounds and then run out of bounds by Derek Tuska at the 38-yard line. Gain of 3.
Now with all these new kids from safeties playing down into the boxes, being linebackers, as we take a look at the isolation here and some good work being done by Destin Talbert. But the play was to the backside. My point is, I don't think NDSU is going to bring much pressures or much blitzes today.
Henry trying to work off some blocks. James Hendricks right in there to drag him down, but still a pickup of 4 yards will bring up 3rd and short again. South Dakota will once again go quickly.
Hendricks was lined up as a free safety, but now he's back down inside the box.
Simmons kept it. NDSU read it, but 2 guys missed. As Jackson Hankey chases Simmons out of bounds, and a good run there for the senior quarterback. But he's still a yard short or a half yard short of a first down.
Offense stays out there. Kaiser was the second one to miss. McCormick had the first crack at it, and Hankey just trying to close him out as best he can. But here's McCormick. He doesn't get hit on the play. He thinks he's going to get a shot in on Simmons, the quarterback, and he couldn't do it.
Ball where it's measured now is short. It looks like it's maybe the length of the football or more. And then Bob Nielsen has to make a decision.
I think you need to do what you need to do to keep this offense on the field, don't you? After what you've watched NDSU do in its first 2 drives. Meaning, if it's short, I think you stay out there.
Brings up 4th and inches for the Coyotes.
And you saw Nielsen whisper something over to Ted Schlafke.
Get a first down.
Is that what he's whispering to him?
Could be. Take the wide look. Kaiser missing. Here comes Hankey trying to close out.
Looked like a pretty good spot.
And it is 4th down.
Henry in the backfield with Simmons.
No safety in the middle of the field. Will be man coverage on the outside. James Hendricks has already rolled down inside the box and the boundary side. So there's James, your free safety. He's down. Nobody back here. 1-on-1 to the outside. Anticipating the run. I think Pierce's hand did get in the neutral zone.
Oh, so he's saying they're going to say somebody moved early from USD. Maybe the wide receiver.
Ball start. offense for 13. 5-yard penalty.
Anderish.
4th down.
The leading receiver for USD, probably in a obvious running situation, flinches.
Watch the football. You can see Bob Nielsen. South Dakota 117th in the nation in penalty yardage this season. Scud on for another punt. Boy, that's a nice deep high one. His height has to call for the fair catch at his own 9-yard line. Well done by Scud. NDSU backed up, but still a 14-0 lead. Buying, building, or refinancing. Start with a free immediate pre-approval from Gate City Bank and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank. For a better way of life, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Oh, those penalties.
In the last 2 weeks alone, South Dakota 27 penalties for 284 yards. Unfortunately for fortunately for them, did not hurt them against Youngstown State last week.
They scored 57 points on the Penguins last week.
Give to Christian Watson, some great blocking on the outside, and another big play as he high hurdles down to the 34.
NDSU with another chunk play. 1 in every 5 times NDSU snaps the ball, they're picking up a chunk play as Watson goes up and over. A chunk play, 10-yard run or a 15-yard pass.
I'll tell you, this kid's turning into one of the most dynamic players in the FCS, LT. His development has been something to watch. Play action for Lance. Oh, he has all day to throw it. Sproles comes across the middle, wide open. Inside the 40, down to the 38. Covered on the play by Cameron Tisdale.
Kind of covered. Tisdale gave him about a 10-yard cushion with no safety help. Both safeties sucked up into the box, so the middle was wide open, allowing Lance the opportunity and his offensive line giving him the time to be patient enough. Now O-line up front, another clean pocket, and here he goes. And look at how far Tisdale is back there, and no safety, strong or free, anywhere in the middle.
Handoff goes inside, and the Coyotes ready for it that time. I think it was Cameron Klein shooting through to bust that thing up, and a loss of 4 for Ty Brooks.
Klein, one of the seniors here for the Coyotes.
Out of San Diego, California, played as a true freshman.
His 8th TFL of the year. It's a negative play for NDSU. Bison have not seen much of that today.
See Braylon Henderson, wide receiver, true freshman in motion there. Lance will drop it off, and it's caught. Check out the speed of Kobe Johnson. Jack Cochran had to run a long way to push him out of bounds at the 27, but that'll move the sticks again with 3 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, you had Noah Gindorf in the area making a block, taking care of one of those. Here's your Nodak Insurance Company replay, and that is the quarter as the Bison pick up the first down.
Boy, what a first quarter it is and was for North Dakota State. The Bison, 225 offensive yards here on Senior Day, and they have a 14-0 lead driving here at the end of this first quarter. Back with quarter number 2 after this. Nothing North Dakota State as we take a look at the Gate City Bank fan cam. And again, send us those home and watch party pics to fancamyourcam.com. We'll show those in the fourth quarter. First to 10 NDSU from the 27-yard line, already leading 14-0, and a flag comes in. Someone moved early. You'll notice number 17, Zach Mathis, is into the game. That's the last month.
Zach, that's who the penalty's on.
For 17, 5-yard penalty. First down.
But your point continue. It's good to see him back.
Yeah, he's a kid that it looked like it could be season-ending potentially when it happened, but not as bad as they thought, and he's had a pretty good recovery, not even wearing a brace on that knee.
Looked to me like they were trying to get maybe a handoff to Henderson on a jet back through. So getting some of these young freshmen an opportunity to get out there.
Timeout. Something was off kilter there for North Dakota State, and a timeout called from the sideline. And we have our first timeout before we even run our first play here in quarter number 2.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, do you?
Experience a better home loan with Gate City Bank. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank provides locally approved, financed, and serviced home loans. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Like last night in the AAA High School State Championship game in North Dakota, a kid threw in an interception on back-to-back plays. Which you don't see that very often either, just like a timeout before we run a play here in the second quarter. He threw the pick, the kid who picked it got blasted, fumbled it, and on the next play, he threw a pick again.
Cofield in at tailback. Garrett Malmstrom missed 3 games. He's back in at fullback this week, the senior out of Fergus, Minnesota. A play action for Lance. Oh, there's a man wide open in the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Ben Ellison, the senior out of Pauley. He has passed Travis White now for 8th most in program history with that touchdown.
The roll out, the naked boot, the throwback, and here's your safety who's supposed to be guarding that, or maybe it, well, no, Tisdale is trying to catch up on the backside, but NDSU had a long crossing route right in front of it to help clear out to give Ben that whole corner.
North Dakota State clicking on all cylinders here in the first half. Trey Lance, 151 yards and a touchdown as Ben Ellison catches his first of the day. Ben Ellison, his 16th career touchdown, and earlier this season was named as a member of the All-State Good Works team. Will be honored later this season. 5 plays, 90 yards, and 202. And it seems like pretty much anything North Dakota State wants, it can have offensively so far here today.
Yeah. Ellison, all-time tight end touchdown leader, broke his own record.
Peterson Farm Seed kickoff into the end zone for a touchback, and the Coyotes down 21-0 will start at the 25-yard line. The young man does a lot of work in the public school system. He also wanted a mission trip with Derek Tusk and Cole Karch's 2 roommates to the Dominican Republic for spring break last year. So it was a really great experience, getting an opportunity to help, working with children in some of the schools down there as well. Simmons going to drop it off, and that ball was thrown into the turf. Incomplete.
It wasn't going to work anyway, because usually the goal when you try to get a quick screen out there is get one more guy than what your opponent has. Well, just the opposite happened. There were 4 green jerseys in the area and only 3 white jerseys in the blocking, so that play wasn't going anywhere anyway.
South Dakota just 3 passing yards so far today. Simmons throwing it out in the flat, and it's caught. Not much room, maybe a yard on that reception for Austin Gearing, sophomore tight end out of Kiel, Wisconsin.
Really nice open field tackle there by Josh Hayes, 4th on the team in that department. We've talked over the years on how well NDSU's corners can tackle, and these kids that are out here, meaning Hayes and Bridges, very good at it.
Someone from North Dakota State was offside, and Simmons will throw it to Randy Baker, and he sneaks away and then takes a shot from the backside. But he has enough for a first down to the 35, and a much needed first down conversion for the Coyotes.
Offside, defense number 93. That penalty will be declined. The play results in a first down.
The high side defensive end, Logan McCormick on the top. Bison down 4, have used a few stunts, but their splits today seem like they're just a little bit wider. Give you angles on those tackles.
Delayed handoff, first run for Brooks. Kanan Brooks, over 100 yards last week, gains 8 yards on first down. Brooks, a sophomore out of St. Louis, has been a nice change of pace back to Kai Henry.
He scored his first career touchdown against the Bison last year down in Vermillion.
Delayed handoff again. Brooks patient running, about a yard short of a first down to the 44.
I noticed USD do this a lot last week against Youngstown. The backside guard and tackle both pulling.
The Bison ready for the run that time for a loss. James Hendricks came flying in, and South Dakota does not convert.
Loss of 3 on the play.
Couldn't tell who the first guy through there was. I think it was Jack Darnell. Nodak Insurance Company replay. No, it was Bigler.
Number 15, Brady Shunton.
Now Matt Bigler, the junior,
Number 84,
getting the work done inside.
North Dakota State.
Brady Scud out for another punt. Leads the Missouri Valley third nationally in punting average, nearly 46 yards of boots. Height dropped it. Did he get it back? I don't think so.
Not initially.
They're still battling for it at the bottom of the pile. There's a lot of white jerseys. And they're saying NDSU did get back on top of it.
Oh, and it was Trevor that got back on it.
That's having a conversation with his junior return man.
Hunt is muffed, and then Height right now has it underneath the leg.
Oh, he is
and
lucky.
He scoots it in with his heels, and then gets his hands on it.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 89. 10-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. First down.
And a penalty will go on Cole Jacob, too. How did he get that football?
With his feet. He puts his feet back up underneath him, gets both hands on it, down by his groin, and then is able to control it with all those coyotes around him.
So North Dakota State backed up again to its own 10-yard line.
Tell you that young man, though, has not made many mistakes in the punt return department this year.
Leads the Valley. An average for return, and boy, Trey Lance swarmed under this time. Good read on that play by Klein.
Now, most of the time, the read is the defensive end. Maybe this was a play where Lance was trying to read a linebacker. But whatever he was reading, it didn't work.
South Dakota really needs a stop here. Still early in the second quarter. On the jet, more room to run. Watson showing off the speed. Good pursuit there by Jakari Starling to catch up to him, but a flag comes in back at the 12-yard line to hold everything, and it's a hold on North Dakota State. Bring it back.
From the spot, so half the distance to the goal.
And there's a yo down at the 29-yard line.
Offense, number 81. Penalty is half the distance to the goal, spot of the foul. Pete, second down.
That's Babbage, and that is the 5th penalty on North Dakota State already here in the first half.
The USD player who was so far, you see him being looked at, was so far away from the play that I have no idea what happened to him.
Well, we will step aside as they take a look at the injured player from USD. Back in a moment.
The penalty was called right there on Josh Babbage. As you watch Babbage, he's not going to get a whole bunch of the coyote, but look at who's the outside ref looking at the play from behind side. Saw just a little bit of a jersey tug and the penalty.
We'll go the same play to Watson. Good pursuit by Cochran. Watson did stay on his feet to reach across the 10 to the 11. And that will still bring up 3rd and 9 here for North Dakota State. I'm talking about Jack Cochran. We talked to Tyler Roll this week about him, and he just mentioned they asked Cochran to do a lot. Similarly to what South Dakota State asked Christian Roseboom to do.
The thing though is Roseboom has probably a step and a half more speed, I think, maybe than Cochran does. But yeah, there's a lot of responsibility on number 39's shoulders to try to help on the defense. Right now, he's right there.
The Valley's 3rd leading tackler. Greenfield putting pressure on. Lance has a lane. There's the speed of Lance, and he's got a 1st down to the 27-yard line. When things break down, number 5 can move as well as anybody.
But if you can run, or in this case scramble to where the vacated spot was, we saw where Cochran was coming from on the right side. Lance knows, hey, there's no linebacker there. He's able to use his speed, get the 1st down, not take any hits. And just because of what he saw pre-snap and then after snap, when Cochran comes in, linemen take care of him. He knows there's room out there on the flat.
Jake Matthew ran a long way just to run Lance out of bounds. Round game. South Dakota ready for it. Cochran into that tackle as well. First man there, I think, for South Dakota was Jonathan Jonas, and Jonas having to play because Brock Mogensen is out with an injury today, the redshirt freshman out of Farmington, Minnesota, and likely done for the year.
Yeah, Mogensen had surgery on a broken thumb. Greenfield broke his thumb too not long ago, but his break was one where they could kind of tape it up, brace it up, and get him on keep him on the field.
Lance play action on the comeback, and it's caught. That is Braylon Henderson making the reception, and he's got a 1st down to the 44-yard line. And they really like Henderson, one of a handful of players that North Dakota State recruited out of that Frisco-Plano area.
Here's the true freshman on an ISO. You use chop down, break down. Mark Collins, the best defensive corner that USD has, gave him a little bit of cushion. And the pass was on time, so there's no way that Collins could close down and make a play on the ball.
We talked to North Dakota State coaches. They're very excited about the future of that young man out of Plano East.
Now, still the plan is to redshirt him, though, so this is one of his 4 games.
Run to the short side there for Kobe Johnson. Pushing the pile up to the 49 and a gain of 5 yards. Let's pause now for a quick message from Shields. Johnson getting the call again, running behind Carson Schoeding and Malmstrom, and the pile continues to move. An extra 4 or 5 yards thanks to some help from the Rams up front, and it's a 1st down to the 43.
Well, he said running behind Schoeding, and actually it was Schoeding running behind the back after the end of this play. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Watch 59 Schoeding and also Malmstrom in there, just giving the push and getting the push and the push to get that 1st down as the Bison stay on their feet. And I know the big center, the 6'5" junior from Rolla, doesn't get any credit for yards gained. But if you, it's almost like you handed him the ball.
Lance play action. He's going to air it out deep. Man, wide open in the end zone. Watson, touchdown.
Well, let's just face it. The Coyotes have issues on the backside of their defense, and once again, absolutely torched. So here, the receiver hands him off to the safety, who's not at all in a position to take care of Watson, who uses that speed. And of course, Trey Lance had all kinds of time to load up and show off that arm, and Watson hauls in another long touchdown.
Christian Watson, 4 catches for 121 yards and a 51-yard touchdown against Western Illinois. He's got a touchdown here, his 5th of the season on a 43-yard bomb, and it's a 28-0 lead. Nine plays, 90 yards as Christian Watson got behind everybody from South Dakota and hauled in his 5th touchdown reception of the season. Trey Lance, 209 yards passing on 9 of 10.
He's up to 23 touchdowns passing this year.
His quarterback rating, 331.6. That's pretty good. Kicked out of bounds by Wegner on the Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kickoff the planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. And USD will move the ball up here and start at the 35.
Explain that number and how we get to it.
I'll let you do it.
I can't.
Mr. Analyst.
That's way too much math. The higher the number, the better you are.
North Dakota State averaging 23.2 yards per reception today.
How much per play?
12.6. Simmons, designed run. Kaiser coming in there to make first contact and then had some help across the board. 2-yard pickup.
Just no semblance of any balance or much success at all from USD on its offensive side. I tell you, if Simmons isn't running, Henry hasn't done much in the running department. The pass game hasn't been there quite yet. We know Simmons is a good runner, but you can't rely on him to do it 5 out of 6 plays.
Henry sneaking through a hole. Good gain here for Kai Henry, who's got really good speed. Finally tracked down from behind by James Hendricks, but an explosive play for South Dakota and much needed.
That's what the Coyotes were waiting for. Nodak Insurance Company replay. There you see Kaiser, just how the play comes a little bit quicker when you're playing the linebacker position on you. He was just a step off on his fit. Biggest play of the game.
Simmons going to keep it this time, staying on his feet and diving ahead to the 15-yard line and enough for a first down. So South Dakota in just a couple of plays inside the North Dakota State red zone.
Now you're seeing some of that quick play ability that USD has. I mean, this is an offense that, you can't hold it down all day. Bison have done a good job so far.
Swung out to Henry, trying to get the edge, and then crunched. Dawson Weber came in high as Lane Tucker got him low. Gain of a couple. Again, with Cole Karch out today, Tucker going to have to play some extended reps at defensive tackle. Spencer Wagee also moving inside for most of the day today. Around the flat, Greenhaw makes his first catch. And he is about a yard short of the first down. Drew Greenhaw, just his 18th reception, an Ellsworth Community College transfer, had 50 receptions in 12 games for that program.
But what a difference the big run makes now. You can just see or sense or get a feel for USD having some confidence on the offensive side.
These short yardage situations have not gone well for USD today.
46% on the year on third down.
Quick look to the sideline, 3 on the play clock. Henry has a first down, pushing ahead. Pyle continues to move, and I think he may have gotten in. No, taken down at the half-yard line. It'll be first and goal from there.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Looks like USD is going to line up quick. Bison do keep him just out of the end zone. Nice job by Hendricks to score him up.
And Henry dives across and into the end zone. Touchdown.
Here it is. The play before Hendricks Squares him. Henry gets it down to the 1. And then on the very next play, the same guy goes over the same side of the offensive line and gets it into the end zone.
Mason Lorber in for the extra point. Low snap, handled, booted up, and it is good. And South Dakota is on the board with 5:01 to go here in the first half. Give credit to Kai Henry, exploding through the hole on a 38-yard run, and then North Dakota State got on its heels a little bit.
Well, the Coyotes were able to play tempo off of that success. I mean, a lot of times this year, Coyotes will do that a lot all game long. Just snap it about as fast as you can. But there, once you get a defense on its heels just a little bit, you want to keep the pressure on it, and that's what Bob Nielsen's team did.
Bob Nielsen and Matt Entz.
Oh, they know each other well.
Yeah, and they've a tremendous amount of respect for each other. And Matt Entz said next to his father that Bob Nielsen is the most influential male in his life. Played
father
for him.
and grandfather, he said.
Yep, and coached for him. Was an associate head coach at Western Illinois under Nielsen. It was very difficult for him to leave his mentor when he came here to North Dakota State to work under Chris Kleiman, and now the two are facing off as head coaches. And when Nielsen was asked, are you surprised that Matt is having so much success in his first year? Nope, not at all. Lorber on to boot this one away. Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed, and a fair catch is called for and made by Watson. And NDSU will start at the 25-yard line. Gate City Bank is proud to support the NDSU Bison. Show your Bison pride today with a free NDSU Gate City Bank debit card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard, Gate City Bank, for a better way of life, member FDIC.
Well, the Coyote offense showed a little bit of sign of life there in that last drive, and the Bison offense here wants to keep the pressure on and not allow this Coyote defense to try to gain any confidence.
Interestingly enough, South Dakota has run more plays here in the first half, 30 compared to NDSU's 28. Things breaking down for Lance, and he is slammed to the turf back at the 25-yard line. South Dakota never giving up. And I think it was Brendan Webb, the redshirt freshman out of Kansas, coming up with the stop.
Well, I thought that was going to be just the 8th sack of the season, but he got back to the line of scrimmage, so it should not be a sack. But yeah, that's right. NDSU has only allowed 7 sacks, and 2 of those were kind of runs that were, you know, not a true sack. But really, they've only given up 5 true sacks in the pocket all year long.
South Dakota 5 sacks last week against Youngstown. And there's room to run for Cofield. Cannot break free. Good pursuit that time from Mike Johnson, senior defensive back out of Florida that transferred in from Iowa State. That'll bring up 3rd and 6. Cofield today, 4 carries for 25 yards. NDSU 147 rushing yards overall here in the first half. Lance firing, and it's batted away. E.J. Reed coming in to knock that away, and that will get the North Dakota State offense off the field. A big stop and a big 3 and out for the Coyotes, and still time to maybe go down the field, get more points here with 3:35 and 3 timeouts.
Well, Cochran vacated that particular spot to go in on a little bit of a blitz, so I think just the pre-snap read, that was the only way Lance could go with it, was off to his right, but a nice play on the ball by Elijah Reed.
Wegner, knock it away, nice high, deep punt. Drives the return back to his 14, that's Bell. He's taken down finally at the 20. Good strong finish to that run after he was initially stopped at about the 16.
Tutsy first guy there. Jackson Brown, I think, was in on that play as well. Nodak Insurance Company replay, backpedaling. 25 right there. Michael Tutsy gets a hand on some hips. And Jackson Brown, number 3, in on that tackle there. talk about seniors given to the program. Jackson Brown and what he's doing now, he's playing without an attached ACL.
Simmons will just drop it off to Henry. Oof, big hit there from Dawson Weber. Jackson Hankey first man there. No gain.
Stop on the play by 52, Jackson Hankey.
Weber having to play a bigger role today at safety because of
No gain on the play.
the linebacker issues with Kaiser and Tutsy both moving down today.
Hankey first guy there, absorbs the stiff arm, and that allows Weber to get the pads smacking a bit.
Simmons high across the middle, and it's caught. Going up, making the catch was the freshman Bell. And a big gain there for the Coyotes inside North Dakota State territory to the 45.
You know, in the previous play, Brian, Bell was open similar on the near side hash mark, but the Coyotes didn't have enough time to get him the ball. This time Simmons was able to spot him and then just throw it up there and let his freshman make the catch.
That was a great catch there for Bell. Bridges was coming over to defend. Simmons time again going to air it out. Man open down the field, but he is overthrown. Marquise Majors was running free, but I don't know if he knew where the football was.
Well, it was a stop and then a go pattern. Destin Talbert was stride for stride until the stop, and then Talbert kind of hunkered down, allowed the release of Majors to get a little bit deeper, but that took too much time. The ball was already in the air and he couldn't catch up to it.
Second and 10 for the Coyotes.
Randy Baker in motion. Simmons dropping it off, setting up a screen. And a little bit short of the first down for a 9-yard pickup. South Dakota mixing it up a little bit, and I think that was Elidor making the reception.
Comes back and makes the catch. You see Pierce, the defensive end, trying to run it down from behind. Needs to gain the 35 and didn't quite do it.
Simmons under pressure, getting away. Gonna try to take off and run. Hankey giving chase, but I think Simmons got across the 35 or to the 35, and he will have enough for a first down to the 34 is where he's marked out.
Yeah, he got it by a clear yard. Simmons was hanging back. He saw the flat open, and if he runs right away, he can easily pick it up, but he's waiting for something to break free and hopefully use his arm on the play. Bison had it covered downfield, so he did what he needed to do to pick up the first down, and that was outrun Hankey. Good look at Jack Darnell doing some work inside.
Henry strung out. Was hit low there by Spencer Wagey, and then he had help from others, including James Kaiser, and a loss of 1.
Wagey using that speed advantage he has from a defensive end, playing inside at the tackle, busts through the gap, and does get on the ankle of the running back.
Flag comes in as Simmons will just run out of bounds at the 37, and this might be a hold on the Coyotes.
It looked like the two interior defensive linemen, the tackle and the nose guard for NDSU, played a little game with a little cross, and I think that's where the hold happened, somewhere in there.
So now Matt Entz has to make a decision. Do I want 3rd and 13 or 2nd and 21?
Both good choices for the NDSU.
I think Matt's going to decline it.
Holding. Offense, number 66. A penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Now the Bison doing quite a few games, if you will, stunts with the defensive lineman rushing for most of the time, but most of it is not straight. There's almost always somebody crossing, Xing, looping. May see more of it here on 3rd and long.
Simmons under pressure, firing it out, and Levi Falk is wide open at the 20-yard line, and he hauls it in for a first down. Destin Talbert on the coverage for NDSU.
Bison playing his zone, Talbert playing deep. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Simmons does a good job because he gets hit as soon as he releases it. There you see the space that Talbot gives. And the first down. For what? Any guess?
I don't know.
I'd be interested to know what. Everything looked clean to me.
Oh, wait. Ooh.
Oh, whether the ball comes out on a clean catch. This should give us a good angle of it. Is the ball secure?
I think so.
That's a catch.
That's a catch.
That's a first down. Yeah, that ball was controlled all the way through it. One more look. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Nice strong arm by Simmons, though, on that play.
One thing South Dakota has not done today is turn the football over, which is half the battle for the Coyotes, because they have been able to move it.
Falk has had some issues and missed some time. He's had a hand injury that he's been battling through.
And 45 catches last season, just 7 coming into this game.
But he's only played in 4 games. Another look from up top. He has the ball secure, both feet in. You only need one. Are they?
The only thing is he was kind of reaching forward with the ball, and then it hit the ground. I still don't think there's enough there to overturn it, but they've taken a long look at it.
After further review, the receiver did not maintain possession of the ball throughout the process of the catch. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. It will be 4th down, the 37-yard line. The clock will start on the snap.
Yeah.
Boy.
I don't understand. That looks like a catch to me. You remember my offer, Brian? Earlier this year, we were talking about replays. If I ever in my future say that in my retirement I want to be a replay official, Brian has a free, absolutely hands at my side, punch right in the face.
That's a big call too, LT, because
huge.
You know, that's a first down at the 20 with a chance to score more. Now you got a punt, and Height will just run away from this ball. Was it kept in? Wow, that was really good work on special teams.
Okay, now remember, in college, it's different than the NFL. The NFL, if the player is in the end zone, it's a touchback. It's where the ball is. There's a plane. And if the player can be in the end zone as long as the ball's not in the end zone, so that's well played. Is the player in the end zone? Yeah. Is the ball? No.
Wow.
That is it. Just remember, that's a different rule than what you see. See, now most people in here are reacting because they're looking at where the player is. Where the player is irrelevant. It's where the ball is at. We'll look at the replay again, but it looked clean.
I don't think that ever touched the goal line, so I think it should be okay. Of course, we're 0 for 1 already today. And the official is right there at the bottom of the screen. I mean, he is looking right at it. And again, we should mention, the goal line is not exactly straight here.
This, especially the one that's on the south side, it's crooked.
Good work by Brady Scott.
I wonder what Coach Nielsen would be thinking if they review this one and turn it over, so it'd be back-to-back ones against the Coyotes. I think it stands ball on the 2. Well, I know it's not the White Hat's job too, but if he would explain that rule just a little bit to the crowd, to say something to the effect of where the defender is irrelevant, it's where the ball is, then maybe you don't get people booing you quite as much in here.
Travis Johannesson, by the way, from Grandview, had a lot of success there as the new defensive coordinator for South Dakota, working on what is called a positionless defense. Cofield patiently waits and then gets up to the 5. He is taken down from behind by Jonas, and then a timeout, I believe, is taken by USD.
Well, I know, we've seen that and talked a little bit about how USD has had some issues defensively. You mentioned that the new defensive coordinator. One of the guys I was talking to down in Vermillion this week, it was his opinion that no matter who you have in that role, it takes usually a year to get whatever your system is down pat, and that might be some of the things that the Coyotes are fighting through a little bit, because it is a new system. It's different than like David Braun coming in. Yes, he's a new defensive coordinator, but it's not a new system. He is continuing what Coach Entz did when he was the defensive coordinator.
Well, North Dakota State last year against South Dakota and Vermillion had the ball for 23 minutes in the second half.
Well, this game started to look like last year and the year before because the Bison had 560 last year, 647 the year before, and 523 in total yards the year before that.
Makes a move.
Hold on to the ball.
And whistled down at about the 11-yard line with forward progress, and now another timeout from Bob Nielsen with 43 seconds left. It'll be 3rd and 1 coming up for NDSU.
There's
see the end zone.
Yeah, if we have a chance to replay that shot you have and freeze it at the beginning, if we got that chance to do that, we'll show you what we're talking about in terms of how crooked the end zone is. Okay, freeze this. Look at that. Just irregardless of what happens with the play, a lot of people talk about that when they come in there, and they'll take camera phone pictures of it. Oh, look at how crooked the end zone is. It's like, yeah, we know. But this turf comes up and goes down so much that once it goes down, you can't really straighten it back out.
So if you're going to try to get a touchdown, go to the middle of the field because you got about a half yard shorter. Third and 1 for North Dakota State. Short yardage man Cofield has a good push up front. It gets up to the 16-yard line, enough for a first down. And now NDSU can decide if they want to go quick and force something down the field.
That was a really solid job by all 5 of those guys, plus tight end help, coming off the ball at the snap count and getting a really, really good push. And I know USD calls it, on paper anyway, and this goes back to that positionless thing, a 3, but the Coyotes have played a lot of 4-man front. They did it almost all week last week against Youngstown too.
Run again. Room to the outside for Brooks. Brooks busting free and taken out of bounds at the 42-yard line with 8 seconds left. And now, if you're Matt Entz, do you try taking a shot here and getting the ball downfield and into field goal range?
Why not? Nodak Insurance Company replay. Boy, Wilson on the outside, 67, beautiful block. There's Watson downfield once again. Babbage in on a downfield block. If Coach Nielsen's going to use his timeouts and try to get the ball back inside the 10, don't you really feel like you want to take a crack at it here?
Play action. Lance, plenty of time to fire. Across the middle with 3 seconds. Sproles is going to run out of time as he's taken out of bounds at the 32. But again, no time left. And that'll take us to the end of the first half. North Dakota State over 400 yards of offense.
Oh my goodness, really?
With that pass completion to Sproles.
Wow. I knew it was a lot. I didn't realize it was that much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
422. Holy cow.
28-7 is your halftime score. 422 total yards. Matt Entz has found Ryan Gellner, and we'll get a chat with the head coach from NDSU.
Matt, pretty explosive plays on offense that first half.
Yeah, got to keep it up. Got to keep trying to score. You know, we talked about finishing drives all week. Need to do a little bit better on defense. We got to run fit, just bust. But we'll clean it up at halftime. We're going to be excited. We get the ball. Shoot, we had 10 more seconds. We might have scored another one.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Yep.
Guys, back upstairs.
Still doesn't look like he's happy, up 21. 28-7 is your halftime score. 243 passing yards in that first half, 179 rushing yards. Oof, we thought 690 was a lot last week. We may go way above and beyond that here today on Senior Day. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome, Gate City Bank Field. About 2 minutes to go until we start quarter number 3. North Dakota State with a 3-touchdown lead. The Bison will have the football first. Here to start this second half, Brian Sean Vieterman and Ryan Gellner with you. And LT, overall thoughts from a very explosive offensive performance by North Dakota State in the first 2 quarters.
Well, not just the number of chunk plays or big plays or plays over 20 yards, but how many people throughout. It's been the theme, I think, this year for NDSU, just the way the ball has been distributed and spread out, and we've really seen it here. I mean, it's just astonishing to me that the Coyotes have run 2 more offensive plays than NDSU, and the Bison have 260 more yards. Wow.
That's a lot. Impressive to me, too, how some of these guys that are normally defensive backs have filled in at linebacker. James Kaiser, who's been doing that most of the year, but even Michael Tutsi have come down. They've done a nice job making the right reads to make sure that they get tackles and try to hold down a very explosive South Dakota offense.
Yeah, you don't want to have to play players, quote-unquote, out of position, but this is the right team, I think, that these guys can do it against because they're faster. The offensive line of USD is not one that gets a good push. They're not second-level blockers, so there is room to use that speed as those safeties are playing those linebacker spots.
Let's go down to the field and talk to Ryan Gellner and find out what Bob Nielsen had to say about the first half.
Yeah, Brian, the South Dakota head coach was pretty happy with his team offensively. He thought they were able to move the ball against North Dakota State. Would like more of the same in the second half. Defensively, he said North Dakota State is loaded. He's not sure how they'll stop them. His report was once they get in the locker room, they'll have to figure out just how to stop the Bison on offense. Brian?
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And there's a look at Coach Nielsen. The Coyotes will try to turn things around here in this third quarter.
And the offensive production from NDSU throughout the course of the year through the first 2 quarters has been so good. And once again today, these teams that are trying to figure out what to do against NDSU have all been trying to figure out how to do it from a big hole as well on the scoreboard.
Well, South Dakota did have 116 yards of rushing in that first half, and 38 of those coming on the long one from Kai Henry, but an average of about 4.8 yards per game, and that is at least something to build on after running for 327 against YSU last week.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Lorber will boot it away. Kobe Johnson back deep from North Dakota State with Christian Watson. Peterson Farm Seed kickoff your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Watson from his own 12 will return it up the middle and get across the 30-yard line before he is finally taken down on the play. Special teams tackle made by Trey Jackson, redshirt freshman defensive back out of Florida.
You know, ball security is such a big thing for everybody, and you saw Christian Watson after first contact, 2 hands around the ball.
Here's a look at the numbers on Trey Lance.
How's that for efficiency?
Sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. Yeah, about as good as you could have hoped for or asked. 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, a rating of 292.4. Give to the outside, and Brooks stays on his feet after a nifty move, and Brooks is off to the races. Cutting back across the field, Ty Brooks down to the 20-yard line. Gain of nearly 50, maybe 51.
Okay, Jack Cochran is far and away the best tackler on this USD defense, and look what Brooks does to him right there. Do you see he gets past Cochran, dips the shoulders, and then a little burst of speed and a nice little cross at about the 33-yard line downfield to get it all the way down to the 20. Beautiful job by the senior on senior day.
It'll officially go for 48 on that run from Ty Brooks. Now Cofield stays on his feet, running through a small crease created on that left side of the offensive line and a gain of 6 yards. Starling making the tackle.
The guys that are side by side on the right side, Zach Johnson, Cordell Volson, 68 and 67, both had pancake blocks. Both guys they were going man up on ended up on their backs on the turf, and they just destroyed the defensive line on the right side. Great job by those two guys.
Run game again for Cofield. Cutting it back up inside and pushing ahead down to the 5. Good strong finish there for Cofield. His 9th carry of the day, now 70 yards.
I was watching Johnson and Volson again on that play, and they did it again for the 2nd time in a row. On the right side of the offensive line, Nodak Insurance Company replay. Watch those two guys. They're just blowing away by back of the play. Down to the turf is Volson. They're running where those guys were. It's down to the 5 already. What a tandem on the right side for NDSU.
Not much that time for Ty Brooks. Shooting through the gap and making the tackle is Jake Matthew, loss of 1. Matthew was actually an all-state fullback in high school and Omaha at North High School. Won a state title there.
Beautiful run fit though for Matthew. He's a 2nd level guy coming in. Johnson's trying to chip to get him, but he saw the opening and got there before the offensive lineman could and was able to penetrate the backfield.
First time we've seen Delta today. Cofield joined by Lupke and Kobe Johnson in the backfield. And it's Lupke getting the carry. Lupke pushing his way into the end zone. Touchdown! First career touchdown for the redshirt freshman.
Usually it's the big man blocking for the smaller guys in the running game, but here you have the 2 runners. That's Cofield and Johnson opening the way for Lupke to come right at you and get into the end zone, as Brian mentioned, for the first time in his NDSU career.
A guy that ran the ball a bunch in high school, used to carrying the football, and his versatility, something Tyler Roll loves. 35-7 on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard.
Well, in the first half, the Bison obviously picked apart and just really destroyed the back end of the Coyotes defense. On that drive, they ripped apart the front end. They took that defensive line and said, not a factor.
North Dakota State, a 68-yard scoring drive, all of the damage done on the ground.
There's teammates congratulating the redshirt freshman on his first touchdown.
5 plays, 68 yards, didn't take long. The Ty Brooks 48-yard run to open that drive, set up the Bison down at the 20, and Lupke finishes it off. Carter Bell back deep. Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. He'll take it out. Could not get away at the 20-yard line. Luke Weirtz among others in there.
Sear Cox in on the tackle too, I believe.
Austin Simmons, his first half. Sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. Just 66 yards passing, but has done a lot of damage on the ground. 13 carries for 51 yards. And some of those running out of trouble in passing situations. Design run here for Simmons, and he's got room. Simmons, good pickup on first down. Gain of 17 yards.
Fine job by the offensive line, just occupying people and staying engaged with their blocks. Again, it's not an offensive line that'll shove you downfield, but they got in the way to allow the quarterback to run it.
Kanan Brooks has a seam. Nice cutback as a flag comes in. Right now is a gain of 8 to the 45, but let's see what the flag is all about.
So hold, I believe, behind the play.
And Brooks walking off. Yeah.
Holding, offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
That's the tight end, Connor Herman. And those tight ends have been silent today. Brett Sampson, Connor Herman have combined for 41 catches and 7 touchdowns this season, but they've been shut out so far.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Let's watch the tail end of this, and you have a big man like Beagler landing on top of him and carrying the ball. I wonder if he just landed on the ball on his side. Well, Matt's only about 285.
Delayed handoff. A good patient run there for, I believe, Ben Klett getting his first carry of the day. Gain of 6. Klett, a junior out of Lake Zurich, Illinois.
Brings up 2nd and 14 for the Coyotes.
Simmons hanging in there, and he's hit, stays up, and now tries to throw it away, and I think they're going to mark him down at the 25-yard line. Good pressure up front, and nothing downfield for Simmons.
We'll see who got the sack. I think it was Tusker.
Cormack was also in the area.
Spencer Wagey first one in, tried to wrap him up, couldn't do it. No, it'll be McCormick, and then Tusker coming up a little bit late. So that'll be a sack number 4 on the year, I believe, for McCormick.
Brings up 3rd and 20.
3rd and a mile here for the Yotes. Need 20 yards. Needs to get to their own 47.
See the 3 down linemen, max coverage.
Simmons stepping out of trouble again. Kaiser giving chase. And did he get rid of the football?
Yeah,
they're going to say yes.
Okay, Kaiser was the spy. 3 down linemen, and then it was Kaiser just hanging around, spying the quarterback, and then closing on him when the time came. Here's the sophomore out of St. Cloud, closing on the quarterback. And yes, indeed, a forward pass, incomplete. Klett right it there in the area.
Scott, low liner.
Well, you can't say Trey Ford didn't learn his lesson, because that's how we muffed the first one on a punt similar to that.
Trevor Heights making the fair catch at the 40. 10:16 to go in the 3rd quarter. North Dakota State with the football and a 4-touchdown lead on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. 10:16 to go in the 3rd quarter. North Dakota State leading 35-7. Taking a look at the Gate City Bank fan cam. Be sure to send your home and watch party pics to fancamyourcam.com. And we'll show those coming up here in the 4th quarter. Meanwhile, Kobe Johnson, another big run for North Dakota State. 17 more yards on the ground as North Dakota State now over 500 yards of total offense. Meanwhile, down in Brookings, South Dakota State leads Northern Iowa 31-7. Should this score hold and the score down there hold, North Dakota State would win the Missouri Valley Football Conference outright today before even having to take the field against Southern Illinois next week. Another patient run there from Johnson. Good pursuit. E.J. Reed coming in to make the tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a half yard.
I thought Whitcomb was the kid who made who kind of made the play, even though he wasn't in on the tackle. He was able to get pretty good penetration and drive the Bison offensive lineman back. Number 47 for the Coyotes.
Have not heard the name Greenfield or Whitcomb, the two leading defensive linemen in terms of sacks, each with 5 on the season. Two tight ends there, Gindorf and Ellefson on the high side of your screen.
They trade to the high side.
Lance firing on target there to Phoenix Sproles. And Jakari Starling quickly closing in to make the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 4 coming up for NDSU.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Bison have 3 receivers, 1, 2, 3, all at the same depth. And it's just up to Trey Lance to try to survey the defense and see which one's open. He goes to the middleman and picks up a decent gain on 2nd down.
Cameron Tisdale got all turned and twisted around there. The sophomore out of Clearwater, Florida, named to the Missouri Valley All-Newcomer team last year as a true freshman.
He's had a tough day.
NDSU 2 of 3 on 3rd down. The Bison have not faced a lot of 3rd down conversions. Lance is going to air it out. Braylon Henderson caught it! No, he didn't. It came loose when he hit the ground.
Oh, what a beautiful adjustment he made on the ball in the air, though, to give himself an opportunity. Bison pick up the blitz to keep Lance clean in the pocket once again. It's a pressure situation from USD. Coyotes haven't done a lot of blitzing this year. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Lance, and then right here, that movement from looking over his left shoulder back to his right shoulder and then to be able to make a play on the ball.
Looked like he had it.
I mean, he didn't make the catch, but it'll give you a glimpse into his ability, the fact he had a chance to make that catch, because a lot of kids can't do it.
Bison go for it on 4th down, and Lance calls his own number. To the 15, Trey Lance, touchdown! Flag comes in, back at the 10. It does appear it's coming back.
Illegal block in the back. Offense for 67. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It will still result in a 1st down.
Cordell Volson making a push downfield, trying to make that one last block. Probably didn't need to do it. Check out the right-hand corner here. Lance and the quarterback draw. This is not where it's going to be because the big man, Volson, just keeps running and running and running, and there's the push.
Cofield gets the call. Cochran, boy, great close to make that tackle after a gain of 3.
But let's go back to the replay there, Brian, and just talk a little bit about what we have mentioned a few times, but A.J. Blazek's philosophy on offensive line. I know this is a penalty, but look at where Volson is. He wants his big men to run downfield, get downfield. Don't make your initial block or even get to the 2nd level. If you get there, keep on going, sprint and meet the guy in the end zone. I mean, he is more aggressive downfield with his offensive linemen than almost anybody.
Boy, North Dakota State continues to attack the perimeter. And Ty Brooks, another big run inside the 10 and enough for a 1st down to the 5. And there's a Coyote down at about the 7-yard line.
This will be a good look at you as you see Brooks just using his speed to the edge, and then Ty squeezes through those 2 to get all the way down inside the 5, or right at about the 5. As Elijah Reed was the guy who finally got there.
I think Tisdale's the guy that they're looking at.
Cameron Tisdale, the sophomore.
I think he got tangled up there with Cochran as both guys were going for the tackle on Brooks. Buying, building, or refinancing. Start with a free immediate pre-approval from Gate City Bank and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Let's go down to Ryan Geller on the sidelines for a First International Bank and Trust sideline report. Ryan.
Hey guys, on the previous play, Grant Malmstrom, who has been out the last couple of weeks with a left knee injury, re-injured that left knee, came hobbling to the sidelines. Team doctors surrounding him. They're looking at that left knee, guys. We'll update you when we know more.
Tough break. Tyler Roll very excited to get him back. Said he was about 90% this week in practice. Brooks gets the call. Huge hole, touchdown.
Now the Coyotes clearly have zero answer to what NDSU wants to do with its offensive line. This time it is an inside zone, and they just blew him off the ball. I mean, Shooting had no one to hit until he got to the linebacker. There was nobody else there.
Crosa on for his 6th extra point of the day. And it is right down the middle. 6:58 to go here in the 3rd quarter. North Dakota State. 2 touchdown drives here to start. And the lead is up to 35.
Now they're at about their average. Averaging 41 points a game, and they're sitting at 42.
A lot of push-ups today for those folks. 42. Been a lot of push-ups the last 3 weeks. Ty Brooks, another touchdown run. He's over 100 yards on the day, averaging 10.4 yards per rush. There's a look at the Bobcats scoring recap.
2 touchdowns for Ty. He's up to 5 on the year.
Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Bell from his own 3. Finds a lane. Trying to get outside, and a good return up to the 30. It was Destin Talbert coming in to make that stop for NDSU. North Dakota State has racked up 311 rushing yards so far. We still have over 20 minutes left in this game.
338 against Western, I believe, was the most this year.
Delayed handoff. And Cannon Brooks picks up 6 yards on 1st down. We saw Brooks hobble off on that last series. Looks to be okay.
Well, again, he had Beagler landing on top of him, and the ball carried there. I think it might have been just one of those lose your air and have a little bit of a bruised rib.
Brooks delayed again, and NDSU ready for it.
Tucker.
Lane Tucker into the backfield for a tackle for loss, and that'll bring up 3rd and 5.
The center snapped the ball and then tried to cut Tucker. Lane was able to bounce right over that and be in on the tackle. This will be a good look at it. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Look, right there, he misses the cut, reestablishes his position, stays squared to the play, does a textbook perfect.
Jackson Brown will run onto the field here, and Weber will come off as South Dakota made a substitution offensively. Brown seemed some extended reps to do an outside linebacker today. Simmons setting up, on trouble. Down he goes again. And that is Tony Pierce. Redshirt freshman out of Lake Alfred, Florida. His first career sack.
Simmons looking off to his right, nobody open. Pierce gets the hand up in case the ball goes out of the quarterback's hand and knock it down. It didn't, then he closes, and there he is, as Brian mentioned, his first sack.
Missed some time here the last few weeks dealing with an injury. Finally getting back on the field here today. Scott will boot another one in A, and he's done a nice job. Nice high deep punt. Trevor Height from the 27, quickly getting upfield to the 34. He is wrapped up and taken down by Ryan Mazurek. Excuse me, Stephen Hillis coming in to make that stop. We now pause for a quick message from the Bank of North Dakota.
My plan was to get a degree in engineering, and with the help of a student loan from Bank of North Dakota, I did. If you want to build something solid, you need a plan.
Bank of North Dakota, helping you achieve more.
Zeb Nolan into the game at quarterback for NDSU. Nolan getting some extended playing time last week in the win over Western Illinois. And Sabian Clark getting his first carry. And Clark taken down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2. Shooting the gap that time was Matthew, another TFL for him.
With a lot of new substitutions here on offense, the Bison sitting at 560 yards before that play. That's the 3rd most this year already, with still 1/4 and 4 minutes to play.
So Trey Lance's day is done. He didn't even throw a pass in the second half. Well, he threw 1. Finishes with 249 yards and a pair of scores. Give to the outside, and not much room for Johnson as the Coyotes all over it again. Jack Cochran coming in, help make that tackle. 3rd and long coming up.
The Babbage hobbling off? I think
it looked like it.
Yep. Josh Babbage came hobbling off on one leg, and now he's being looked at back under the bench. There he is, 81. Looked like he was in some pain.
Guy that has really broken out here in the last month. Nolan's going to throw it, firing to Zach Mathis. He made the catch, took a pop, and a flag comes in.
This will be a look for targeting, I think.
Boy, Mathis stood in there, went up high, made the catch, knew he was going to take a hit, and he did.
Well, Zach had a knee injury coming back from that, and Tyler Roll was saying, how confident is he going to be? Can he trust that knee? Will he put himself in a position to take a hit? Well, we saw what the answer to that is. The answer is yes.
And Nolan zipping that ball right in there in that tight window he had.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense number 2. That play is under further review.
Mike Johnson. Take another look.
Did he launch himself? Was he up around the head and the shoulders?
Again, every part of a targeting rule has to be essentially confirmed. And that is a rule change from last year, LT. We have not had a lot of targeting calls so far this season.
First one, isn't
it?
I think it's the first one. You know, they're looking at, as Brian mentioned, all aspects of the play.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting on the play. The play results in a first down.
Just the shoulder into the sternum there. Mathis paid the price, but moved the sticks. He's still feeling the effects of that one.
Blood on the chin.
Johnson taken down by Cochran. He's been a busy guy. Gain of 1 to the 49. Experience a better home loan with Gate City Bank. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank provides locally approved, financed, and serviced home loans. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Should mention too that Cody Mauk has got his number 70 jersey on and playing some right tackle right now.
Back into Delta for NDSU. Sabian Clark, Kobe Johnson, Hunter Lukey. Lukey's going to get the carry again. Hunter Lukey showing some nimble feet. Oh, look at him carry tacklers down to the 31-yard line.
Same play he scored the touchdown on, and another chunk play.
Hunter's going to say, keep feeding me, coach.
He's feeling it. Jalen Sundell 72 also getting a downfield block in on that play as we watch the finish again.
Handoff goes to Clark, following his blocks, pushing ahead, gaining 5, and then some Coyotes and a couple Bison got tangled up over on the sideline. That's Corey Fant Jr., I think. With Braylon Henderson. Henderson pointing up at the scoreboard, getting yelled at by the Coyote sideline.
I will say though, when we've gotten to positions like this, and we're seeing here the two tackles that are in, you know, substitute working in, who's ever been in, and especially, you know, I think across the board, there has not been a dramatic fall off. These guys know that it's their time and they're proving themselves, and you know, now both tackles get to work with the #1 center and guards.
Clark again. Nice strong run here for Savion Clark. He's got a first down to the 16. Cody Mauch's development at tackle too, LT, has been really something to see. I mean, a young man out of Hankinson, a sophomore, came in as a tight end, has put on about 55 pounds since he got here.
They got Cody listed at 290 right now. And he does play that hybrid. I mean, he's not going to catch a pass from a tight end position, but he at times will line up in a tight end position with an 88 jersey on. Remember the 71-yarder down in Brookings? Well, Cody Mauch had his 88 jersey on, was significant and a big part of that play.
Johnson following shooting. And Johnson's going to be close to another first down, and he's got it at the 5, and then another flag comes in.
I think it was shooting going up against Mike Johnson into the end zone. I know there was a little bit of shove on each player's part after the whistle. I don't know who the flag may be on.
Louis Piguero is down on the turf at the 15, and he got banged up earlier in the season at UNI. A high ankle sprain. They thought it was going to be way worse than it was. He actually came back to play last week against Youngstown.
Looked like he was holding his left knee.
After the play, on sportsmanlike conduct, defense, #2. That is his first of the game. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Looked like he took maybe just a little extra push, maybe a little swing or something in there. And that was Schuning trying to block him deep into the end zone.
Piguero helped off. Senior.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Here's what we're looking at right down here. These two guys and the one little punch.
So that'll move the ball down to about the 2.5. And NDSU knocking on the door of adding to this 35-point lead. Johnson plugged up, no gain, maybe lost a half yard.
One of the few plays recently that the Coyotes actually held their ground pretty good.
And that should take us to the end of the third quarter. North Dakota State, a couple of touchdown drives. Now up to 621 total yards through 3 quarters here on Senior Day, and the Bison 15 minutes away from winning Missouri Valley Conference title #9. We step aside and be back with that fourth quarter after this. Start of the fourth quarter here in Fargo. North Dakota State knocking on the door, leading 42-7. The Bison just 15 minutes away from picking up win number 11. And it will be the 32nd straight win for this program, one shy of the all-time record held by NDSU, in a streak that ran from 2012 to 2014.
25th straight victory in this building as well. Wide open.
Oh, Lukey in the end zone. Nobody within 5 yards of him or more. And Zeb Nolan has thrown his first career touchdown pass here at NDSU. And Lukey's got 2 touchdowns.
One out of the ground through that delta formation, and then this one on the catch.
Gross to add the extra point. And he knocks home another one. It is 49-7, just getting started here in the fourth quarter from Fargo. Zeb Noland, his first career touchdown pass for the Bison, and Hunter Lupke now has one through the air and one on the ground. Bobcats scoring a recap, 10 plays, 66 yards. Hunter Lupke ran one in from 7 yards, and he was left wide open in the flat here for his first career touchdown reception.
Yeah, you saw 87 there, Gindorf taking care of the guy who was supposed to get out to the flat, and from the moment that thing was snapped, you could tell that it was going to be a touchdown and it would be uncontested.
Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Bell had to run a long way to go get that ball. And Lupa Weirtz there to make the special teams tackle at the 25-yard line. Wirtz continues to play a huge role on special teams. We step aside. First and 10 for South Dakota from the 26-yard line, and nifty running in the hole and a gain of maybe 3 up to the 29. Cannon Brooks, another carry. Just a sophomore, and some nice moves, LT, in the hole.
Yeah, he's good. They like him. He's over 200 pounds.
Brooks again. Taken down a yard short of a first down. I think that was just Sear Cox getting in on that tackle.
Yeah, he was the first one there, and he also had help from Bo Pauly.
South Dakota 5 of 12 on third down. Now 6 of 13 as Brooks has enough. Across the 40 up to the 43-yard line. Meanwhile in Brookings, South Dakota State has finished off Northern Iowa 38-7 the final. So if NDSU, well, and I don't see how they won't hold on to this 42-point lead, the Bison will win the Missouri Valley Football Conference Championship outright. Every other team has at least 2 losses now in Valley play.
Yeah, the Panthers had some turnovers, and it looks like the Jackrabbits, due to that final score, made them pay.
Brooks hit from behind, falls ahead for a gain of 2. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what the committee does with the 3 Valley teams behind NDSU. Northern Iowa, South Dakota State, Illinois State have all beaten each other. They're all going to finish with 3 losses likely if they all win next week, which we would expect them to.
Have same record.
How do you seed them?
Yeah, in losses, in wins and losses against each other.
Simmons to throw under pressure, gets away, has plenty of room to run. Instead, he's going to throw across the middle, and that ball came free, and it's incomplete. Dawson Weber was the one that knocked it free, and the coyote that was intended, Austin Gehring, is hurt.
Holding the back of his left leg.
Ouch. Gehring, a young man that is in a very crowded tight end room.
It's one of the better position groups,
yeah,
I think. Is. And it just caught looked like it was the right shoulder pad hitting the back hamstring. That may be what the injury is, and the Nodak Insurance Company replay.
Gehring, the sophomore, getting looked at by the training staff, so we step aside.
It's 3rd and 7.
They were able to get Gehring over to the sideline and continue to look at that left leg. Meanwhile, it's 3rd and 8 for the Coyotes from the 45. And another sack for NDSU. And that is Mostart.
Will. He and his twin brother combined last week to strip, sack, and recover the fumble. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Mostart on a little crossing pattern gets a free shot.
And it's up there for Austin Simmons throwing the football. Just 10 of 16 for 66 yards. Nice punt by Scott. Height from his 5, eludes one man. And now back across the other side of the field where he's got some room. Heights to the 35, to the 36, and that will help the return average for Trevor Heights. There is a flag.
Trevor, top 10 in the country in punt returning, leading the Valley. Just a smidge under 13 yards of return coming into today's game.
Caleb Vanderish came into this game with 44 catches. He has been shut out today. So is Dakari Allen.
Who? I say that because we haven't said their name.
Prior to the kick, personal foul, face mask, defense number 43. Since that foul happened prior to the kick, it's enforced from the previous spot, 15 yards. First down for South Dakota.
So that'll give the Coyotes a first down and move the ball inside North Dakota State territory.
Take it up to about the 47-yard line.
And Ent's hoping his offense could take a bunch of time off the clock, and now his defense has to go back out there.
With the penalty, makes it first and 10 for the Coyotes.
You can talk and go over it as much as you want, but I don't, from a coaching standpoint, after a while, I don't know what else you can do in the penalty department.
Simmons going to take off and run, scoots ahead to the 40, gain 7 yards. 7 penalties on North Dakota State today. Gate City Bank is proud to support the NDSU Bison. Show your Bison pride today with a free NDSU Gate City Bank debit card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC. 2nd and 3. Give inside. Good strong run there by Ben Klett. He's taken down at the 33 and has enough for a first down.
And Bo Pauly's not going to get up. He came in, took on, I think, one of the linemen, and looks like he's waving that arm around like he's got a stinger or something. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Right there is what we're talking about. No, the ball carrier he took on. And you see him flex his hand. That means there's just a stinger, meaning nerve pain, shooting all the way down your arm into your hand. It feels horrible.
Just kind of goes limp on him there.
I know of what he feels.
Klett. Oh, good penetration to get by Lane Tucker. He's had a really good game today, LT, with extended reps.
What's been most impressive, I think, from Tucker today is his speed off the snap. He's been off the ball quick. There you see, just beating the center once again.
Simmons flushed out to his right, downfield. Oh, good closing speed that time. I think it was Talbert that came in to bat that ball away, and now he's dinged up on the sideline.
Talbert really laid out and committed to making sure that ball didn't get in there, and then when he hit the turf, he lands on the ball. You see Coach Kramer down there trying to lift up that shoulder pad.
I saw Bax. Oh yeah, because Bax like going forward. Did he? I made it.
Kind of lands on his arm there a little bit. Ball scoots underneath down by his legs, but usually that's the indicator when you try to grab the chest plate of the shoulder pads and give your chest some room to move. That means you got the wind knocked out of you.
And for North Dakota State, I think they would take that over anything else.
Yes.
Talbert, a young man that they are excited about his future. Again, it's coming in mostly nickel situations with Bridges and Hayes having the experience.
Didn't play a lot of nickel corner when Jabril Cox was playing that nickel spot, but when Marquise Bridges went to play nickel, then Talbot came in and played corner.
3rd and 10. Simmons out to Bell. The screen set up pretty well this time. NDSU pursues, limits it to a 7-yard gain. Will bring up 4th and 3.
Coyotes will stay on the field on this 4th down, try to get the play.
Julian Widarczyk in the game at safety.
Oops.
Bunch of guys off sides, and Simmons going to take a shot because he can. Good position that time by Jaden Price, another young corner. But again, the offsides will move the ball ahead and give the Coyotes a 1st down.
Price was in perfect position, though. Did a really nice job staying on the inside hip.
Thank you. Offside. Defense, 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
Destin Talbert is back into the game, which I'm sure the coaches are happy with. There's Jabril Cox, Aaron Mercadal, 2 starting linebackers.
That's Jabril right there. Mercadal next to him.
Talked to Merck and he said, you know, hamstring on Wednesday, it just had tweaked up a little bit. Didn't want to take any chances, still had trouble getting up to full speed. Hopefully we'll be back next week. Simmons, little option. Flips it outside to Klett. Lowers the shoulder on Widarczyk. And it's going to be close to another 1st down, about a yard short.
Yeah, Widarczyk playing safety now, the freshman coming up and trying to get a shoulder pad into Klett. See Klett there, pretty big boy.
Simmons going to keep it. Taken down, short of the 1st down. Bring up 3rd and short. Jackson Brown making that stop.
We'll bring up 3rd and 1 for the Coyotes.
Oh, the Bison are ready for it. He lost another yard.
Down though. The ball came out, but he was ruled down.
As Klett got nowhere. Jasir Cox came in. Pretty good push up front with Mostart as well.
Kodak Insurance Company replay. Yeah, they just converged. Mostart, both the Mostart twins and Cox, forcing the 4th down.
Klett pushing ahead, stays on his feet inside the 5, and finally dragged down by Costner Ching at the 4-yard line.
And Klett able to squeeze through the initial big mass there, and then almost looked like for a second he was going to get into the end zone.
Simmons quickly to the line. Will snap it again. Klett, men at the line of scrimmage, trying to grind ahead. Maybe gained a half yard.
One of the advantages of going quick and not making substitutions, as USD does right now, is that NDSU really has a tough opportunity to try to get fresh bodies in there on this drive. Coyotes kind of wearing them down a bit.
Again, these true freshmen, they're used to their seasons being about done at this point. Simmons rolling, taking off and running. Good pursuit from the backside by Cava, and then Jasir Cox was there to make sure he got no further than the 5-yard line.
Looked like Simmons was wanting the second guy in the end zone to open up, and I think that was Sampson, but Sampson stays covered as Cava and Jasir Cox converge on the quarterback.
Kanan Brooks checking into the game for Klepp. He motions out. Simmons firing on the slant, and it's broken up. Boy, violent collision there between Falk and Dawson Weber, and now a flag comes out.
Boy, Weber broke hard for the ball, and then a big collision, as you mentioned, with Falk.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 94, is first of the game for taunting. Penalty is half the distance to the goal and an automatic. First down.
9th penalty on North Dakota State. Now 85 yards of penalty yardage.
The biggest thing there, instead of it being 4th down, it goes resets and becomes 1st down.
This will be the 18th play of this drive for USD. Brooks gets the carry, stays on his feet, lunges across, touchdown.
Well, you can't say the Bison didn't make him work for it. Charlie hasn't had much to cheer for him today. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Brown breaks in, kind of opens up the outside a little bit, then the dive across.
It's a long drive. In terms of not really yardage, but in plays, 19 plays. Extra point is knocked through by Lorber. There is a flag, I believe.
There's another penalty flag on the play.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 in the backfield. Number 73 was lined up as a back. 5-yard penalty, trial will be from the 8.
7-minute and 46-second drive. So now Lorber will have to attempt the point after, and it'll be a 25-yard extra point. Drills it again over the netting. It's 49-14, 7 minutes to go here in Fargo as Brooks, nice piece of running here, diving across for the touchdown. (49-14), 7:03 to go here in Fargo. The Coyotes, a meat grinder drive that took nearly 8 minutes off the clock. The Bison had him stopped a couple times, and then penalties.
And then kept the offense on the field. Yep.
Peterson Farm Seed kickoff your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed, and this is fair caught. And NDSU will start at the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at some of your picks you submitted on the Gate City Bank Fan Cam. Wherever you're watching today, thanks so much for tuning in. Well, that's impressive. Always good to see the kiddos tuning in.
Yeah, thanks again for sending them in.
Clark driving ahead for a gain of 3. Cameron Klein in there. Looks like Dakota Smith, another redshirt freshman, getting an opportunity for some reps here late in the game.
You know, Sabian Clark's carried the ball into the 40 times this year, so he's had enough chances. He had, what, 20-yarder against Delaware, I think is his long of the year.
Nolan just swings it out in the flat. Jimmy Kapuris making his first catch of the afternoon and a lot of yards after contact across the 40 to the 41.
Kodak Insurance Company replay. You're going to assume Kapuris is able to beat the guy who's guarding him. First guy in, you need an extra block on the outside. You get it. And the Bison picked up the first down. Isaiah with the block, wasn't it?
I believe so. Number 86, or was it Voyan? One of the two.
I think it was 86.
Well, slipping out of a tackle there is Clark. Boy, look at him finish this run. Another first down across the 50 inside the 49.
I think it's Jackson Coker who thinks, hey, I have him squared up. Yeah, he sidestepped him. Boom, I'm going to get this guy. Nope, really good lateral move off to his left. Get the shoulder pads back up. Sweet job by the guy from nearby Vermilion, Sioux City Healing.
That's right. Jackson Coker, interesting guy too. He's on the USD track and field team. He's a really good thrower. Discus, shot put was third actually in the discus at the Summit League outdoor meet last spring. And here's a carry out of the backfield. For the first time, DJ Stewart getting an opportunity to carry the ball. Have not seen Stewart much this season.
Recruited as a wide receiver here, getting a run, but I think his position ultimately will be as a wideout.
Comes from a great high school program in Kimberly, Wisconsin.
One of the best nicknames ever.
Paper cutters.
Paper makers.
Paper makers, excuse me. Well, they cut people too. Let me tell you, they've won a lot of games up in Kimberly. Holy smokes. There's Stewart again. Stopped after a gain of 3 more. We'll bring up 3rd and 2.
If you're unfamiliar with Kimberly Clark, one of the, they make paper towels, toilet paper. It's a huge company that's located in Kimberly, thus the nickname.
Your favorite Bison player played there?
Colton Eagle.
Oh. Under 4 minutes to go. Hesitating and then running through a crease and getting the first down is Sabian Clark. Buying, building, or refinancing. Start with a free immediate pre-approval from Gate City Bank and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
On that 3rd down play, it was really nice just to see that surge. We know that, and we haven't mentioned everybody who's been up there, and now the interior of the offensive line's a little bit different. I think Kubis is getting some work at the center position. His brother's playing left guard. Quinn Allo's playing right guard.
Poland trying to get people organized, and there was all sorts of movement. And I think somebody got down in the stance and then jumped.
12 players out on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Okay, 12 men out there. So 1 man will head over, and that'll bring up 1st and 15.
I don't know if it's his fault or not, but the guy who came off, I think, was Logan Hofstad.
See Quinn Allo out there. Another North Dakotan.
Yep, Quinn from Lemoore, junior, started his career as a defensive lineman.
Stewart gets the give. Boy, pretty good speed out of Stewart. Putting the shoulder down, getting close to the first down. About a yard short to the 26-yard line. Pretty good burst there out of the redshirt freshman.
Well, that's why they recruited him, because of his speed. Jet sweep, nice block, and a strong finish.
Bumped out of bounds there by Isaiah McDaniels, sophomore defensive back. If NDSU can get this first down, they can pretty much take it down to the horn. And Clark has the first down as the pile pushes ahead across the 25 to the 24. This copyrighted broadcast is property of North Dakota State University. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or distribution without the consent of NDSU is strictly prohibited.
The term you used with pile moves, boy, it didn't take long once they changed that rule. You see that so much now in all levels of football, especially here in the college level, though, when aiding the runner is no longer a penalty. As long as the pile's moving, you can push the ball carrier. That's kind of changed the way a lot of plays end now with a big pile.
Boy, room to run again for Stewart. 3 Coyotes converge at the 16-yard line and a gain of 8. And with that run, NDSU will be up to 686 yards of offense.
690.
I guess it'll be 687, I guess, is what they'll move it up to.
If their most ever as a Division I team was the 690 last week.
Some valuable reps for these guys, though, in this game.
Absolutely.
Stewart.
Look at how well blocked that was, though. I mean, the opening was where it was supposed to be, and the biggest thing, I think, was the time of it. You know, the timing is there.
Should push him over the 690 mark. 692.
Third time the Bison have been in the 600s this year.
Clark wants the end zone. Pushing across to the 3. And NDSU going to come up 3 yards short of putting up 50-plus points on the board for the first 3 times in a row for the first time in school history. Never had back-to-back-to-back 50-plus point games. Sabian saying, give me one more run,
nope.
Coach, I can get it.
It's not going to happen. 49-14.
Matt Entz, Bob Nielsen will meet at midfield. And North Dakota State has won the Missouri Valley Football Conference Championship outright. And the Bison have had it for 9 straight years.
This is the 5th outright championship as well in that run of 9.
And the winning streak up to 32 games for this program. All the questions at the beginning of the season with the 24 seniors that were lost, the 15 starters that were gone. How would this team respond? How good would they be?
How many times were you asked that question this summer?
Oh, a ton. And I kept saying, guys, they're still going to be really good.
My answer to just about everyone who asked that question, and like I said, it was asked a lot. I said, this is a very talented football team. You just don't know the names of the players yet.
South Dakota 14. Thank you for your attendance today and your support of NDSU athletics. NDSU and the North Dakota
well, fans now know the names of the players.
And they will look for a perfect run through the Missouri Valley Football Conference with a road game next week at Southern Illinois. And the Salukis are playing for a playoff spot after winning today. Southern Illinois at 7-4. If they can beat NDSU, you'd almost think for certain at 8-4 to win it over number 1 team in the nation, they'd get in. So certainly something to play for Southern. Matt Entz standing by with Ryan Gellner.
700 yards of offense today. That's getting it done.
Is that what we ended up having?
700.
You know, you don't get any bonus points for yardage, but you do create an atmosphere and an attitude when you're able to run the football and big plays like we did. So kudos to our offensive staff. Those guys continue to do a great job of finding different ways, unique ways to utilize the talent we have. And we keep having young guys. Braylon Henderson step up and help us today when we had some banged up receivers. So, and then you see Zach Mathis making a huge catch. We got great players that come to work every day, and they do a great job of listening and learning. So it's on them.
I thought defensively you played with a ton of emotion, especially after halftime. The kids were getting it done for you.
Well, we needed to. We knew they were explosive offense, and we had to use some unique personnel today. They want to be known as the Honey Badger group because we have 4 safeties on the field, but those kids bought into everything, and it was a great job by our defensive staff to put a plan together for a team that was averaging 30 points and a couple hundred yards rushing the last couple weeks.
You've won the Valley outright today, 9th straight year that North Dakota State wins the Valley. Congratulations. That's goal number 1 marked off the list.
It is. It's a cool feeling. Our kids bought in. They continue to come to work every day, and you know what? We got one more this year, so we got to make sure we take care of business, and we'll start that on Monday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, back upstairs.
Not a bad start to a head coaching debut for Matt Entz. 11-0, and they just continue to roll. 700 yards of offense, Ryan said it. Holding South Dakota to 245 total yards, an offense that averages about 460 a game. It's been an impressive run. The #1 team in the nation continues to roll as the Bison finish off senior day with the victory. We will step aside and be back with more from here at the Fargo Dome to wrap this one up after this on the KVOY KFYR Bison Television Network. North Dakota State is the Missouri Valley Football Conference champion once again, securing things outright with a 49-14 win over South Dakota, coupled with South Dakota State's win at home over Northern Iowa. Ryan Shaw, Lee Timmerman back with you. Thanks so much for joining us all across the state on the KVOY KFYR Bison Television Network, and another dominating performance, much like we saw last week.
Absolutely, just to be able to come in here and do this. I'm just going to throw a few numbers out you, and this is if you're watching on the internet and you're from South Dakota and you're a big fan of the Coyotes, you're not going to like this. We just saw the 700 yards today, the 419 yards rushing. But let's go back to the 3 years. Last year, the Bison had 560 with 384 rushing. 2 years ago, 647 yards with 340 yards rushing. 3 years ago, 523 yards with 396 yards rushing. So that's more of the same of what the Bison do to the Coyotes.
And the Coyotes falling to 4-7 on the season, and will host South Dakota State in a big in-state rivalry next week down in Vermillion. Try to get back up for that game. Did have a few injuries today as we take a look at some of the highlights from that first half, and NDSU got off really fast once again, much like they did against Western Illinois a week ago.
Yeah, through the air. Here's a completion on a little square out to Christian Watson, and he's yards after catch. Almost 19 yards per completion today. I know Trey Lance is one of the best in the country at that, and that stat grows as well as the Bison get in on their first drive of the game, and scored again on their second drive of the game, and again with some long, big plays this time on the ground.
Boy, how about the stiff arm there from Brooks, and then running over him, man. He was running hard today, Ty was. Over 100 yards rushing on the day on just 10 carries.
Yeah, Ty Brooks, his average is about what was the average for the team. I believe the team averaged 10 yards per play today. And there's Cofield getting in the second touchdown of the day for NDSU.
10 rushing touchdowns on the season now for Adam Cofield, who's really turned into the bell cow in the short yardage situations. And there you see the athleticism of Watson.
Trey Lance out into the flats. And then Kobe Johnson showing his speed down the sideline. I mean, up the gut, on the outside, through the air. Look at all the time he has for this throwback.
And Ellison just waiting in the end zone for the ball to get there. 16 career touchdowns now for the big man.
I mean, he's wide open because it's just some not horrible. There's horrible play in the back end. The secondary needs some work, but the Bison were clearly the more physical team today.
See one of the physical plays there, Kobe Johnson, 10 yards after contact, and then Watson streaking free again on another busted coverage.
I tell you, people from around the country ask me about Trey Lance, and I tell them just how the beautiful deep ball that he throws. so catchable 50, 60 yards down the field.
One of the few explosive plays for South Dakota was the 38-yard run there by Kai Henry, and then Henry finished it off with the only touchdown for USD in that first half today. Let's take a look at your final stats, sponsored by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers.
Over 400 yards on the ground with that 281 through the air, and the Bison tally 700 yards. We thought the 690 was impressive last week. It was, and so was the 700 today. That's the most yardage ever for Division I team from NDSU. You just witnessed it today. Total, absolute, total domination. Look at 33 first downs.
Again, that's what the first team offense, not playing the last 20 minutes of this game. A lot of the backups doing a nice job when they got in there as well, as South Dakota had a lot of trouble pretty much stopping anything they saw from North Dakota State today. We will step aside as we took a look from those final stats. Sponsored by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. We will have the Nodak Insurance Company Player of the Game and a look around the Missouri Valley as well. Look ahead to next week's contest at Southern Illinois. That's all ahead here on the postgame show. (49-14) is the final score. Brian Sean Lee Timmerman back with you at the Fargo Dome, and Ryan Gellner standing by with the Nodak Insurance Company Player of the Game, Ty Brooks. And Ryan has him right there in the sideline.
Yeah, one of the seniors on this year's Bison football team on senior day. Ty Brooks comes out, has a day. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Tell me about it today. You were running like you were mad out there.
Yeah, we had a lot of energy pregame. Tried to get the guys hype. Cordell Volson kind of beat me with the energy, and you probably saw it out on the field. The O-line did a great job.
You talk about energy, though, and I don't know how many people know this at home, but you really do bring that energy on the sideline, and I know that's something you pride yourself in.
Yeah, I've always been a spark plug, I think. I pride myself in that when I play. Try to bring others around me up, and if you don't have energy, it's no fun. You know, it's football at the end of the day, and you got to have fun with it.
Was there any extra juice today because it was senior day, because it's the last regular season game that you guys will play in this building?
No, I wasn't really thinking about senior day. We had our eyes on the conference championship. And the whole goal of the season is first is conference championship. So we knocked one goal out the way.
Yeah, you got that. Outright champions of the Valley because of what else happened in this. But, man, you take care of your own business. Good things just keep happening here.
Yeah, it was a fun day.
700 yards of total offense. 700 yards of total offense. When I say that number, your thoughts?
Madden.
Yeah.
NCAA is video game numbers, you know what I mean? And we can do it any week, you know what I mean? So it's just crazy. We're around a great group of guys. Each day in practice, we come out with the same mentality, just win every day.
What's it like for you to share the backfield with a couple of different guys? Obviously in college football, everybody wants to be the number one guy. Everybody at NDSU has to share that thing. What's that like for you?
It's all I've known. That's ever since I was a freshman. It's been multiple backs. We all at the end of the day want to see each other do well, you know what I mean? Because if you're doing well, you're making my job easier. If I'm doing well, I'm making your job easier. So it all goes hand in hand.
Seems like after every one of those long runs, somebody else is getting your touchdown, though. Is that tough to take?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I got to talk to Coach Roll about that. Tried to talk to him before the season, but it is what it is. It's points on the board.
Congratulations, Nodak Insurance Player of the Game.
Thank you.
All right, that's Ty Brooks, guys. We'll throw it back upstairs to you.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. Thanks, Ty. And, you know, this young man has just come so far from when he first got here. You know, he was a corner for a while, then he was just a return guy.
What position was he going to play?
And how much stronger he's got running between the tackles. That's where I think you've seen him grow most.
Yeah, he is, and it's, you don't teach vision. I mean, you can help a kid try to understand and how to. He's got a really good feel in traffic, and we see that repeatedly. And I like how when he squares and kind of squirts through that hole. I mean, Ty's been able to do that. And you're right, he came in here with almost without a position, and now he is certainly a go-to guy in the backfield offensively.
Let's take a look at some of the second half highlights from today. North Dakota State had that 21-point lead, and then had the football to start the second half and went right down the field again. That was a great move.
Yeah, little jet move. Do we see this one again from Ty? Here he dips back into the inside, putting up Madden numbers.
It's a good way of describing it. that Delta formation. How about Hunter Lupke, his first rushing touchdown at NDSU?
Also had his first catch for a touchdown a little bit later in this one too. And here's Simmons looking, but nobody open downfield. He has to take the sack. Well, he didn't take the sack. Yeah, he did on this play because Logan McCormick was right there, and they ruled him down before the ball.
Brooks continued to make plays, and North Dakota State, I mean, they really attacked the perimeter, and they had all sorts of room to run out there all day.
Well, and here's a play right up the middle. Look at that. There's no contact at all until the running back is into the end zone. So the Bison own the line of scrimmage. There is no doubt about it. Here's Pierce getting a sack.
Yeah, his first career sack. Tony Pierce missed some time with an injury, and he's fired up. I like the future of this young man, just a redshirt freshman out of Florida.
Lupke again with a carry, hauling people with him down, absorbing punishment, and it ends up with Hunter getting that reception for the touchdown that we were talking about.
As Jensen Pauling had no one to block out there in that bootleg. Ben Klett got some carries, some tough running for him in that second half, and after some penalties, Kanan Brooks able to get the second and last touchdown of the day as North Dakota State rolls 49-14 is the final. NDSU celebrating 11-0, Valley champs once again. Been a fun afternoon, been a fun season for this club. We step aside, we'll take a look at next week's opponent and a look around the Valley scoreboard as well. After this, on the KBOI KFYR Bison Television Network. 49-14 the final. Someone signing a Phoenix Sproles jersey down there. Or is that maybe a different number 11?
Let's go with that. Nice jersey, Phoenix.
Ryan Gellner standing by with James Kaiser, guy that played a lot of snaps today at linebacker.
Yeah, James Kaiser with 9 tackles, 1 pass breakup. And the cool thing is you sat out for a couple of weeks, learned a new position, and then came in and was flying around today.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of will all season, but had some fresh legs today for sure, and felt good to be back out there.
What's it like running around on this defense against a team that could throw it, a little quarterback run? What's it like today?
Yeah, we had a ton of fun today. We had kind of a speed group out there with Tutsi going to Bear and me playing Will, and it was a ton of fun for us.
This defense playing well right now. You got tested today, and for the most part, came out pretty good.
Yeah, we played well today. We got a lot of work on it. Go back and watch the film and see how we can do better.
The offense really helps things out, though. When they put 700 yards of offense up on the scoreboard, really gives you a break on D.
Yeah, with the offense playing like they do, it helps us play good defense, taking a long time with the possession, gives us a break when they're running the no-huddle, too. So it's big to have the offense like that.
You wrap up the Valley today, the Valley win. Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, super excited. Everyone's amped up in the locker room, win the Missouri Valley outright, and it's huge for us.
Let's talk about this team right now, into the stretch drive. Heading down towards the end of this season. You still got another regular season game left, but you've got to like not only where you're positioned, but how well the team is playing on all 3 phases.
Yeah, right now it just seems like we get better at little things each week, and we're going to keep it rolling.
All right, I'll let you get over to radio. Congratulations. Another nice win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys, that's James Kaiser, who had a great game today. And we'll throw it back upstairs to you.
Look down at his notebook there for a second. Here's the upcoming schedule. Just 1 game remaining in the regular season. Southern Illinois next weekend from Carbondale. Pregame show at 1 o'clock. Kickoff at 2 p.m. down at SIU. You haven't been there in a while.
No, we haven't, but because we missed them in the byes the last couple of years. But Southern, 7th win today, and so they're 7-4. And 5th conference win, too. So Southern is kind of trying to work its way into that group that includes the Bison, the Panthers, the Redbirds, and the Jackrabbits.
And as we had mentioned, South Dakota State winning today. A bunch of Valley teams kind of jam-packed now between Illinois State, Northern Iowa, and South Dakota State 2 through 4. It's an interesting final week, and it's going to be interesting seeding when we get to playoff Sunday, Selection Sunday coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Thanks so much for joining us all across the KBOI KFYR Bison Television Network. For Ryan Gellner, Beth Hool, Alex Egan, Kyle Emanuel, and Lee Timmerman, I'm Brian Shawn saying so long from the Fargo Dome. NDSU on Senior Day racks up 700 yards of total offense and moves to 11-0 on the season. We'll see you next Saturday down in Carbondale. Have a great Saturday night, everybody.